Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Across from me is...
I am Ratfink.
I usually, if an artist goes by an alias, the usual first question then changes. Where does the name Ratfink come from?
So it is actually like this, I guess, cartoon character that this artist made in the 60s. I forgot their name. But it is a thing. But I actually found it when my grandma and I and our family would play poker. And we were, I was pretty young, so she taught us at a really young age how to gamble. Thanks, Grandma. And whenever I would, beat her or whatever and have a better hand and, take the chips or whatever, she would be like, "Oh, you little Ratfink." And I remember being like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Oh, it just means like you're a little rascal or like a weasel or like you screwed me over and I'm mad about it or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I like that a lot." And I actually tried to make that name from a couple of bands, like in high school. They're like, "Oh, that sounds kind of weird. I don't like that." I was like, "Okay." And then I tried it with my brother's band. He's like, "I don't really like that." And so I was like, "All right, I'm just going to use it for myself because I like it. So that's all that matters." And then I put the exclamation point in there just because it's easier to find me if you type it in that way. Because if not, you'll find the cartoon and stuff. So it's not the best name for marketing, but I like it. So, and other people seem to like it. So yeah, that is the origin story. My villain arc.
But you're also a producer in, so like, I don't know, I feel like producers can have like kind of stranger names if like their name shows up in like credits and stuff. It's like, oh, I've like seen that name. So it's like, it almost feels like this underground, like, ooh, there's this cool person like working on stuff.
Right. Yeah. I definitely wanted to do that for a while. Like with Linka stuff, it was Linka and Ratfink, or like produced by Ratfink. And I definitely for a while wanted to produce other artists, but producing's a lot of work. And
Sure is.
So not that I'm not interested anymore. I just don't do it like at all, really. I just kind of produce my own stuff. But yeah. At first it was kind of like that underground thing, and now it's the performer or whatever. So yeah.
So okay, then let's get into what is your primary passion?
Yeah, it's I guess recording and releasing songs is really exciting to me. I kind of wish it was like that's all I had to do, like I could just release music and people would, just love it from there, but you have to promote it and stuff. So I do really enjoy performing. I think it's just way different because it's 45 minutes of just like adrenaline. And then after it's done, you're like, okay, I want to go home. Like I'm not that same person up there. So yeah, primary passion. I just like starting from a really basic idea of a song, whether it's a drum beat or a guitar riff, and then just building that. And sometimes it'll be a tempo change that like takes it to the next level, or just like a cool little outro. Just like composing songs, I guess, to answer that.
When did you first get started in music?
Started the drums like 7, I want to say. It took me a while to get decent, and that was because my brother had already played guitar, so my family was like, "Well, your brother's already doing guitar, so you should just do drums." And I was like, "Okay," and I was fine with it. So that's kind of how it started, just kind of a family.
That is kind of funny that like a parent would recommend drums for their child. It's like, are you sure you want to be doing this for yourself?
I think once the drums came home and we were putting them together, they were like, "Oh shit!" It started to sink in a little bit. But yeah, it was a great support system. So I'm glad that they were okay with drums being my instrument. But yeah, eventually I was really interested in songwriting, so I taught myself guitar and was just writing songs kind of throughout high school. And then in senior year, I released an album under Radfink. It's hot garbage, though. It's on Bandcamp still, I think. The songs are good. It's just the recording quality was not great. It's just on this little Inbox Pro. And that was like, yeah, it was just all I had at the time.
Would you ever revisit those?
Like the songs or the recordings? I've thought about it. And I think some of the songs I've turned into other songs, whether it's with Linka or my stuff. So yeah, I definitely have revisited the songs because they are good. But yeah, I don't know. I just have so many songs I need to finish anyway right now that I'm interested in. But yeah, I definitely would revisit them. But yeah, that's kind of the origin of that. And then slowly, worked on more solo stuff after high school and throughout college at ACM. And yeah, just now starting to take it more seriously, I think. So yeah.
At what point did you realize that music was going to be your forever thing? You don't just go to college for music if you're not.
That's true. I think because I was good at it, at least, I thought I was at the time, and I've always been a bad student in, high school. Just like I was always I won't say bad kid, but I was just like a very distracted kid. And grades didn't really mean anything to me. And just college sounded so like forced, like I think at one point I was like, oh, I could be like a detective in Seattle or something. And I was like, for no reason. And I was like, well, everybody else is doing what they want. And thankfully I didn't do that. I was like, okay, I can't do that because my grades aren't good. One. And two, I don't know why I would do that. So yeah, I was like, okay, I can, write songs and I like recording. So my brother went to ACM and he was like, just go there. It's fun. I was like, okay. So I did that. So yeah, I think just being able to record at home made me want to pursue that more through ACM. So yeah.
Do you feel like you got what you needed out of ACM?
Yeah, I think most production majors will say the first 2 semesters are really good. And then it's kind of like you're doing all the basic stuff that you needed to get done. And it's just, for me, it's like it doesn't go downhill, but it's just like I lose interest. Because the first 2 semesters you're recording a lot and you're like working with on group projects for recordings, and that was really, you got like hands-on at like on these consoles and stuff. So it was really just a good experience. And I think I was taking a break after, I want to say maybe 4 semesters, and was getting a song mix by a professor. I don't know if I should name them. And they were just kind of asking me like, are you thinking about going back to ACM? And I was like, yeah. I should mention I was helping mix the song because I called them and I was like, this doesn't sound right. And they were just like, just come on down and we'll mix it together. Anyway. And then, yeah, they asked me that, and they were like, so yeah, you think about coming back to ACM? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm not really learning anything anymore. And they're like, yeah, I don't think you need to come back. Like, just keep doing this and getting experience and you'll be fine. So that's, yeah, directly from professor. So I don't think they actually work there anymore. I don't know if it would matter, but I haven't asked them. So, yeah, it's like 50-50. Like, I feel like I got a good amount of hands-on experience, but there's a lot of other stuff that just like not a waste of time, but just like not something that I needed, you know? Yeah. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I do think that, especially in production, I feel like ACM is more of a technical school in that regard of like, here's literally how to use the shit. Right. Like, yeah. and then after that, yeah, it becomes like creative. And so school isn't for everyone. And especially for people who are on the like contemporary music side, school is definitely not for like people like that. And so it does get harder, especially as you're like trying to become self-motivated. Right. And I think, yeah, you found the way, which is just like doing the stuff yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's like they just tell you how to use the shit. It's almost like you're an apprentice at a studio or something. Or why can't I think of the word? Like
intern.
Yes, yeah, studio intern, apprentice. It's like a tattoo apprentice. No, yeah, studio intern. It's like it's almost like there's just a bunch of people in there being interns, which is, I think, hands-on is the best way to learn how to run a studio. So I think there's a lot of parts they got right and some that could be better. But
sure,
yeah.
Genre is not even a question about like what is your genre, but more a question of like, does it matter?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they just kind of blend together these days. I mean, just Spotify, for example. Like, I think you can go to your like songs and then organize them into genre. And you'll go to like chill, and there's just so many different genres within that that it just doesn't matter. Or you'll go to, I don't know, indie, for example, whatever that means. And there's just so many different artists that like Tyler, the Creator, will be on there, and then like Tame Impala, like pretty different artists.
And also not indie in like any actual regard
of independent artists. Yeah, I think it's kind of lost that meaning, being independent. It's just kind of like basically it's a word for hip, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, oh, there's like a cool synth and a drum loop. You know what I mean? Like, that's what indie is pretty much, or like guitar with chorus or something. So yeah, I mean, that's what indie pretty much, when people say I like indie music, that's what they mean, in my opinion. It's like just like a cool vibe, you know? So yeah, genre, I mean, I don't even categorize myself in a genre like that. I just show people on music and let them decide, I guess. Because I just have no idea. Like, I'm not saying like I'm, what I've done is never been done before. I just like don't really, like, I can call it indie all day, but people are like, oh, okay, there's going to be a lot of cool, like, chorus guitars. Not really, So yeah, it's just hard. So I don't know. I don't know if genre means a whole lot, because people will post a song and say it's this genre, and then people in the comments will be arguing about it, and they'll be like, this isn't even chill wave, bro, and this is like house, so it's just funny to me. I don't know, it's just everything's blending together, like, it's crazy how short a time music's even been around, like since the 30s, I guess, late 30s, or maybe 40s, I don't know. And it's just like slowly built to this branched out. Now it's all like intertwining together, and it's all like it's cool. Honestly, it's just kind of weird.
And it's hard because we still kind of use genre to sell the music. Yeah, sure. Like it's a shorthand for just, instead of just playing you the song, it's like, yeah, here's some things, here's some boxes in your mind that you could put this in.
That's very true.
So speaking of marketing, do you feel like, how involved do you want to be in that part of the process? I feel so like weighted down by like social media. And there's also some people that are just like good at it.
Right.
Where on that are you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, you answered the question better than I did. Like genre is kind of it is a promotional tool. So, if you call it like chill indie, people will be like, oh yeah, cool. And like more people will pay attention to it. That being said, yeah, marketing, like you have to do it as a local or small artist without an agent or label or anything. And even I've heard of artists like still having to promote and like a lot with a label, because they're like, you need to make TikToks all day or whatever. Like I'll see people on TikTok say that, and I'm like, that sounds really stressful still. So yeah, it sucks. I think the best way I've found to market is just post stuff I'm interested in, and then bits and pieces of my music, and just because people are interested in you as a person as well, so the people that follow you, so yeah, marketing sucks though. Like trying to market a song when it's releasing, and it just it really gets in the way of the process, and like you said, it weighs me down to where I just get overwhelmed, and like I focus less on music because I have to print posters and make posts and just like ask people to share sometimes or whatever. Yeah, it's draining for sure.
Yeah, but you also have like there's a clear vibe that you're going for. You have like, I hate saying it, but a brand. And so like there is an intentionality behind it. I guess, where does that come from? How much do you want to rely on it? How much of that is actually just you?
I guess, the brand, I don't know. Are you talking about like on stage or just like with social media?
Yeah, I mean, but like it's all we're swimming in it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I think, like I don't know. I try to like put a lot of politics on my social media. And when I say social media, I really only use Instagram. So, I try to throw that in there, and like, not because I'm like, oh, I need to post politics today. It's just more like, I want to say this for people for my following. My following I do have, I want them to like acknowledge it or, like think about it, and know that that's how I think about whatever's going on. And then, on stage, it's like, I don't know. I mean, that's the full brand of it, I guess. Is like, this guy who, it's funny enough, my dad described the stage presence as like Frank Sinatra sings like these indie songs. Indie songs again. No, but like he almost described it as like a crooner making like soft rock or whatever, and I thought that was interesting. I don't feel like I give that vibe off on social media at all, but I thought it was interesting. He said that pretty recent too, so it's made me think more about maybe leaning into that. I don't know, but not that I sound like Frank Sinatra, but I kind of got what he was saying. I guess there's definitely a brand to it. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, exactly.
What is secret website?
So I don't know what's really happening with that. Nick started it last year and was like, he described it as a gang of just artists. I think he's just so busy that it's not really active anymore. That being said, I still say when I release music that it's under the label secret website, just because I think it's cool. I don't know. It was originally just some artists that he got together and thought, we'd be cool together. And I have kept up with those artists. So I think it did help. I just think, yeah, he's just so busy that he isn't really active on it. But yeah.
I mean, I guess what makes it different from a label, or, like, it is a community of artists and you share in something.
Right. Yeah. That's a good question. I think it was just meant to be like, you can do as much as you want with this. And then like, I think he was really wanting us to be like a community, like you were saying, and like build it up that way. I just think it was kind of difficult to do that. But yeah, it's not really, he didn't describe it as a label. It was more like, because there's no contracts or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like if you wanted to go to label, of course you could. And I think that was the idea of it. I do need to reach out to him and just kind of pick his brain on it, where it's at. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. Or you could just like take the reins and be like, cool, I'm going to do some stuff and it's going to say secret website on
it. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been doing for sure.
What is your music about?
Yeah. I mean, I don't write a lot about myself. I write about like stories that I think are interesting, or like scenarios where I'm the protagonist of a song. For example, my song that's coming out July 15th, it's called One Track Woman. And I initially got inspired to write that after watching True Detective season 3. And specifically season 3, because it's not a continuous show. It's like each season is like a mini series. So it's like a whole different story. And that one was like my favorite of the show because it was almost romantic. Like it was really focused on this cop and his wife, who was a journalist, and he was not very supportive of her being a journalist, and he felt like she was using him because she was writing about him. And I think that's what this is a long explanation for a song, but that's kind of what broke them apart, was like that, I guess, resentment, or that not having that trust. And I was kind of taking the side of the wife in that, and I was like she's doing so much, like she's a one-track woman for this guy, like she's trying to be the woman for him, and he's like neglecting that. So yeah, I kind of like take themes from cops, like almost like leftist language, like class traitor, like cops are class traitors. So I put that in there, and then just kind of write about how he's not a great guy for him, or for her, his wife. So that being said, I don't know, I just I like to make things romantic because I'm a romantic person, I would say. So I like sappy love songs. I like serious love songs. I don't know, I just want to evoke that emotion in the song. So a lot of it is just like romantic and very self-aware of me as the protagonist, like how I could be a better partner to whoever the person is in the song I'm talking about, and just being honest, and just like twisting it with romance, I think is fun to me. So
yeah. Why music?
Why does music exist?
No, why do music? Why dedicate so much of our energy into this thing?
I think I may have said this in like on your question where you asked, who are you? I said it's 50% what I want to do and 50% of what people like. I think it's just like it's art, obviously it's it's you pouring out yourself in a way where it's not like revealing everything about yourself. It's like the parts where it's the parts you want to tell people about yourself. Because if it was truly 100% what you wanted and like how you felt, and like you're like, I'm doing this only because I like it, then you wouldn't release it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you just enjoy it for yourself. So that's why I think, yeah, 50% do it for myself, 50% do it for like people who might like it, you know? So yeah, there's so many layers to this question, Santiago. But also I hear music sometimes and it's like a 2-minute song of something great, or it has something great, and I'm like, oh, I wish they expanded on that. And I try to take moments like that and like really drive that and like extend it. So it's like, oh, that's my favorite part. And I can loop it for 5 minutes if I wanted to, you know what I mean? So I guess it's like taking my favorite parts of music that I listen to and just like kind of borrow those ideas, or be like, I really want to do more with that, and I wish this artist did that, so I'm going to be the artist that does that.
Yeah.
So I do that.
The secret is we're all thieves.
Exactly. Yeah. Was it Picasso that said that you see everywhere? He said, good artists borrow, great artists steal, or I don't know if that was Picasso, but
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Someone else said it and then stole it. So yeah.
Picasso stole that quote. Yeah, exactly. And now I'm stealing it. I said it. Michael Scott. No. But yeah. And I don't give credit, you know, like I think most music should credit Black musicians, and just musicians around the world, you know, like, just like the culture of it. I mean, most like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC owe so much to Black blues musicians. And I think a lot of the music I like is like R&B from the 70s and stuff, which again is Black musicians. So I think stealing in that regard is wrong and unethical, and like trying to make it your own genre if you're like a white artist, you know what I mean? But you know, I think giving credit is way better than that, you know what I mean? Being like, yeah, this sound I got from this record or whatever, like I really like that, you know? It's the same with sampling, you know? You most of the time have to sample if you're a bigger artist, you know, just giving credit that way. So yeah, so I think I like went a different route here, but
that is an interesting train of thought, and maybe we'll follow it later. Yeah,
for sure.
Do you separate art from the artist?
I do. It's getting worse. Like it's getting harder to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my favorite band is The Strokes, and the singer he's kind of all over the place sometimes and says some things I don't agree with. It's nothing like terrible. Like he's not defending like murderers or something. But yeah, just like I think, yeah, it's harder to enjoy the art for sure, because you can't ignore what an artist says. I'm trying to think of an artist like that more. But yeah, I try to. I mean, I guess Kanye is a great example. He's, you know,
not a criminal, just an asshole.
Just an asshole. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy Kanye's music still, even though he's kind of cringy sometimes. But yeah, a lot of respect to him still. It just depends on the artist, I guess, because sometimes it can really be like, I never want to listen to them again, you know, like if it's something really fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What advice do you have for people that are wanting to do what you do?
just do the damn thing. Like I played my first show last year at the deli, and someone asked me to play, which not a lot of people are asked. But it's just because I was putting music out there and like some promotional stuff. And yeah, I just was like, yes, I want to play. That'd be great. That being said, just like, don't be afraid to release stuff. Definitely finish stuff and release it. Like, the more you listen to something that you think is not ready, the more it probably is ready. You know what I mean? And you just gotta like set yourself a deadline, and not like a long deadline. Just like if it's one song, just be like, all right, I got to finish this in 2 weeks, and you will probably finish it, and you will probably be frustrated at first and probably doubt it, but later down the road, you'll really appreciate it. Cause it sucks not releasing music and having these great songs that are great, and just not having people enjoy it as much as you. So yeah, just keep going, if you get to a spot too where you're like, oh, this is awesome, like I just played a great show, just don't have that lull either. Just like keep going, book another show, have another song ready, that kind of thing. So I just say, like, just keep that fire going for sure.
Yeah. Dang it. That's usually the last question I ask before getting into deep questions. There's one that I forgot. What's something people don't normally know about you? For some reason, this is the hardest question for everyone.
Yeah, I think some people know. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't know about my car accident and that I have a bad back. Yeah, it's really discouraging at 26 to have all these disc bulges. It doesn't even sound cool. Disc bulges in my back and my spine. And it's really, it's done a number on my mental health. So yeah, it's like going up on stage sometimes is hard. Like my last show at Ponyboy, like my legs were like kind of giving out because like my legs are really weak too. Just because I have to like lay around a lot or sit. So yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that I'm injured, and like it's hard to even focus on music and write and perform even. So yeah, take care of yourselves, and if you're able to, it's healthcare is a bitch. So
yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Switching gears into the deep questions that make bit depth. What is the role of spirituality or religion in your life?
I'll start with religion because that one was such a big part of my life for the longest time. I went to private Christian school until I was a freshman, and I was like a firm atheist in 9th grade at that point, and nobody liked that at the Christian school except for like some friends, and the faculty or whatever, the teachers and everything were really concerned, about that. And you're in 9th grade, you're like the angstiest person in the world if you're an atheist. So that was me.
As if 9th grade isn't angsty enough. Yeah.
Being an atheist just puts you over the edge and you turn into that little shit. So I was just always so doubtful of what I was believing in. And it was just like the morality aspect of it. Like it was just, I saw so much hypocrisy in that school, and like racism too, and like shit like that. That was just so normalized, and it was just like, this is not right, like, and when you're young, you don't really realize, and then, you start questioning things in middle school, and then you're just fed up by high school. So, I've never really believed in it as much as I was supposed to, I guess. And I just couldn't get on board with, some of the hypocrisy. Like, just an example, like we were in chapel once and we weren't standing, and we got called out by some teacher, and one of my friends was like, yeah, I just don't stand because I'm Catholic and we don't do this. So like, I'm just not really used to it. And the teacher was like, well, you need to like not be at this school then. And yeah, I was like, that's when it really like got me pissed off. And I was just like, that's not right. Like, and like that probably happens at so many other places too. And like in real life, obviously, like people get persecuted for that. And it was just really annoying. So, it's almost like Christians turn me off of religion more than Christianity itself. But yeah,
You started with religion,
spirituality,
and then spirituality. So where do you go from there?
I still am questioning what even spirituality means to me. It's always like I hear it and I'm like, oh, spirituality, like what's like, what does that really mean? And I feel like it means a lot for different people. So I don't know. I'm interested in spirituality. To me, I haven't really experienced enough of it to really give a straight answer, because I've just, I guess, since I decided I was an atheist, or chose to be an atheist, I've kind of just been like, all right, that's what I'm going to be. And I'm just going to live, as an atheist. And I guess being an atheist doesn't mean you're not spiritual, but for me, I've just never explored that. So, again, that's why I want to ask you, because I remember you mentioned spirituality in one of your episodes, and that really got me thinking. So, I don't know yet what spirituality even means to me. So, yeah.
What is your definition of God?
Just a dude in the sky. I think God can be something you put on a pedestal that you think has control in your life. And like, I actually kind of admire that. Like, when people are like, I pray to God every day. Obviously, if you do that for the wrong reasons, like, then it's not cool to me. But, like having faith in someone, whoever your God is that you believe in, I think I wish I could have that still sometimes, I think it seems like a good way to have hope in life in general and humanity. So yeah, I think people make gods out of anything, whether it's your huge ego or, Christianity or Islam. So yeah, I think people just make anyone their God, whoever they look up to, for morality purposes, in my opinion.
What is free will?
In the sense of, I think of free will just in like in the American way. People think they have free will, but free will to me is just it's having the ability to do what you want. It's something people just misconstrued all the time, in the sense that, yeah, I mean, for me, having free will would be going to the beach and just staying there forever. Like I could do that. Like I could leave this interview right now and go to the beach and, pick up the girl I'm talking to and be like, let's go to the beach, baby. Like we were talking about. But, money prevents you from that. Family, I guess. For some, for me, it would hinder me from doing that. And I just think being scared prevents us from having free will, just like fear. So I guess to answer that, it's like free will is like not having the fear to do what you want. It's like you are absolutely willing to do it and you don't have fear of doing it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you think happens when we die?
It's a boring answer, but again, as an atheist, it's like how you were before you were born, like how your conscious was, and like that's how I see it. And to me, that's comforting. Some people think, "Oh my God, like there has to be something after this," but to me, that's comforting because it's just like, we know when it's the end. When it's the end, or that's how I think. And that's, some people want that. Some people want that closure in their life, like whether we like it or not in this life, we have time. Like there's a time on it. And sometimes that freaks me out. Sometimes I'm like, all right, get busy living or get busy dying, as Shawshank Redemption says. Yeah, I think there's the curtain closes, when you kick the bucket. And to me, that's comforting.
Yeah. How do you determine what good behavior is?
Good behavior is when it's it's doing things when no one's looking or no one's watching, like good things, like genuinely good things. Like you don't care that other people are seeing you do good things. And so good behavior is, I think it boils down to interaction with humans, and how you make other people feel. So if, you don't have to make someone love you to have good behavior, but I think you need to have someone who feels safe around you, to have good behavior. Like, people, women especially, see decent behavior from men and they are like, oh my God, he's such a good guy. And then it's really just, he's a decent guy. Like he does decent things. Like good behavior is like, I don't know. You've got my brain in a twist.
It's okay. I mean,
I like it.
This is why.
Yeah, this is why we
questions are fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, good behavior is it's making someone else feel good, I think, and it's making someone feel safe. I think, again, like people a lot of the time mistake decent behavior for good behavior. And I said women because they're just not used to even decent behavior from men a lot of the time. Yeah, it's a bummer. So yeah, good behavior, I think, is just going out of your way and your personal, agenda to be good. I haven't even described what good behavior is yet. It's just so, yeah, again, I'll just say making people feel safe with you to be around you.
How do we reduce the division between people?
That's a hard one for me because as Americans, I feel like we're very individualistic. We're supposed to like keep to ourselves and it's none of my business, that kind of thing. And we need to break that down, you know what I mean? In so many levels, like, whether it's gun control, there's not even like, even if we passed all the laws for gun control, there'd still be this consensus among Americans of division. And there just needs to be a change of morality for Americans about what guns mean and like what they're doing to this country. It's like something like that. So we just, your question was division, like how do we
reduce it?
Yeah. And
do you want to?
Yeah, right. And reducing division just requires so much education and like reform of how we think, like we're getting more subdivided too, like there's like leftists and liberals and then like moderates and then right wing and then like fascists. So it's like, I mean, it's always like history repeats itself, of course, and just it's breaking down division is going to be very tough in America, and how we do it is just education and class consciousness, even. And to answer that, do we even want to knock down the division? It depends who it is, If it is the fascists, I don't want to break down that barrier with division, you know what I mean? I just don't think there's any desire to do that because fascists are violent people inherently, against the most oppressed people. So going off on a tangent again.
I like tangents.
Okay, good. It's just, it's hard, but I think getting to a level where the majority of the people realize that, we need healthcare, we need money, more money than most people are getting, then because this country is poor, there's a lot of people struggling. And actually, it's not poor, but the people who are benefiting from it, don't deserve to as much as they are. So I'm mainly talking about America. So, yeah, it's a long battle. It's a long, hard battle.
Yeah. Do you believe humans are evil by nature?
No. No. Final answer. Just kidding. Yeah. No. I think you grow up good inherently, from the behavior you see. So I guess if we retrace, from parent to parents, the parents before, your parents and all that, it just gets broken down. I think people, at least in our generation, we try to do better. So I feel like if people were inherently evil, we would get worse. Like if Gen Z or millennials were like, my parents were so homophobic, I'm going to be even worse than that. You know what I mean? Like, let's pass laws, to make it worse. And like the people making these laws are older people usually. So I think we're inherently good. I think, which is kind of like contradicting myself, because why wouldn't we start good and then just keep being good? But I think people, I think we're inherently good, but there are people who take advantage of the good and don't realize it's bad. And then that spreads into greed, and then greed leads to power and the desire for power. And so that's why things can get bad on a large scale. Sorry, phone's ringing. And yeah, I just don't see humans as inherently evil like that.
Yeah. Very good. What do you think humanity is heading towards in the future?
Again, I think humanity and history repeats itself. It'll either, and I think of things like in political terms. So, like society, or like just one part of society, let's just say America again, like we'll get so oppressed to a breaking point where we can't take it anymore. Or at least the people getting oppressed can't take it anymore, and eventually revolt and just want to take it in their own hands, and make a government for the people that, for the people, by the people, basically. And it'll either do that or it'll fail, and then it'll just like keep happening no matter how long it takes. Just like looking at any successful revolution, whether it's like the USSR or China in the 50s, like that's where it got to. Like Great Britain and China was feeding the Chinese people opiates so much that it was just killing them, and then they just couldn't take it anymore. They were literally just going to die. It was going to be a genocide, basically. And they got to that breaking point and told the British to fuck off, and then it worked. You know what I mean? Like, it was power in numbers, and they, just had to rebuild their country, and they got rid of the opiates. Even today, like, opiates in China is, there's a big mentality of it being like wrong, because here we have in America an opioid crisis that no one gives a shit about, and the big pharma is pushing it and killing us. So it's similar, but it was just so bad over there that they were like, fuck this, like, we are going to build a nation for us and not be drugged up and useless, So humanity is headed towards good inherently. Like, I think the majority of people are going to get to a breaking point and want to make it not shitty.
Yeah.
So
then what are you optimistic about for our future?
Well, I'm optimistic, that we'll get there. I think American politics makes me super pessimistic. Looking at other countries is just really interesting. I think there's a lot of propaganda against countries like China, even. And you think of them, they're just as bad as America because they're this big country. When you look at it, like, most of the people in China support the government, and then you'll have people here say, well, they're brainwashed. And then I say, why would you say that about, like, aren't we brainwashed? Like, why would you say we're brainwashed when we obviously, there's not 90% of us who agree with our government. So I'm just like, why is there that hypocrisy? So yeah, looking at other countries and like how they do things and how they run their government gives me hope. Like, stepping outside of American politics is a good idea sometimes. Not saying, don't be involved with your local government and community, but,
perspective.
Yeah, it can be disheartening to look at the government on a big scale and feel hopeless. And most people do, and there's not much we can do. Like, we didn't vote on Roe v. Wade, just however many judges it is, 6 judges decided to overturn that and fuck everyone over. So, and is it okay if I curse, by the way? Yeah. I've been doing it. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, that's really disheartening to see something that most people didn't want overturned be overturned. And it's bullshit. So American politics, again, is just very pessimistic for me. So looking at other countries where the people have a say is very optimistic to me.
Yeah. What makes you content?
I think family is like an anchor for that. It can be scary, and it can actually be the opposite of content. But just knowing you have family, and if you're lucky enough to have family, it's, for me, makes me want to even start my own family. And yeah, I think the future of like just love and family really makes me just like chill out, because ultimately that's kind of what I want in life. And yeah, just thinking about that, and it makes me like, I'm not ready for a family or anything like that, but it's something I definitely want to strive for. And I don't know, just the thought of that even makes me like, just like, it sounds so nice, you know? Like, I don't know, just gives me hope for myself, I guess. Because it's hard to be content. So, but that's the one thing that does make me content for some reason.
When will you be satisfied?
Musically, I always think like once I'm at a point where I'm making enough money to do that, then I'll be satisfied financially. And I hope that's true, because I, you know, work in general is like leads me the opposite of satisfied. Like in my old job, I was in sales and it's fucking terrible. And yeah, I kind of spiraled in a little bit in that way. And so I hope music, like I hope, you know, getting paid for that would make me satisfied. And hopefully it's the opposite of being in a sales job. So to me, yeah, that would satisfy me, and just being able to support myself and loved ones as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people in general?
Just reflect on yourself every day if you can. We can always do better. Be careful what you say, you know, just think before you speak. Yeah, just check in on yourself. Like, you know, we're not perfect, but we're not bad either. I mean, some people are bad, but for the good people listening, or the people who are trying to be better, yeah, just like checking in on yourself. And, you know, if someone says you did something that hurt them, you probably did. So just like listen to people and like reflect on yourself and see what you can do better every day, because it's important.
Yeah. Lastly, potentially most importantly, cake or pie?
Oh shit. I love cake. And the reason is because I feel like you can have ice cream with cake, but you can't have ice cream with pie.
I'm not here to question your answers. I'm only here to hear them.
All right. Well, people listening, I think cake is superior because you can have ice cream with it. And potato cake, if you haven't had potato cake, it's really good. Yeah, you just cook potatoes in it. It's so moist and delicious. It's like it's an Irish thing, I think. So
cool. Ratfink, thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you, Santiago.
Where can people find you in your things?
Spotify. I'm not sure when this is going to be released, but yeah, I got a new song coming out next Friday, July 15th, One Track Woman. My social media is just RatFinkX. And yeah, I also have a show July 17th or July 15th. So at the Speakeasy. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So whenever you go and see Ratfink and he's freaking like giving his all on stage, just know that like he's giving you so much more because he's like has a back injury and like this is all for you.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. Once again, thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm Santiago Ramones.
And I am Ratfink. Thank you, Bit Depth.
What song of yours is about to play at the end of this?
One Track Woman.
Perpetual emotions, baby. You run like clockwork in my head. Not everything fits like a glove, oh baby. You trader. He cracks up at the Sunday papers. He's broke now, he's not one for romance, but he's got a one-track woman. He's got a one-track woman. What if we've got it all wrong? It's been clear skies all along. You look just like the next Mona Lisa does, but better. We gotta get you off these drugs, my one-track woman. You my one-track woman. Goddamn this fascination of disguised blue-eyed Dalmatians. I think I'll never get that paid vacation, 'cause right now been waiting much too long. My one-track woman, my one-track woman. You, my one-track woman, you'll always be my one-track woman.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music and produce audio. The music you're hearing now is music I made. You can listen to official releases by Santiago Ramones on Spotify, Apple Music, and the other streaming places. Or you can support me directly by buying my music on Bandcamp. I'm working on Hypothetical, my first singer-songwriter album, so if you'd like to hear that at some point, there are lots of ways to support me on my website. There's a Discord server in which we discuss deep topics from the podcast, but it's also a community of beautiful human beings. All the links to all my things are on my website, santiagoramones.com. Please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It would mean a lot to me to hear what you have to say, and it lets others know what to expect, better than I could ever explain. I want to help the world have deeper conversations, so thank you for listening to and supporting Bit Depth. I always end the podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.